Okay, what we have here is a 50-inch RCA LED 1080p television. And the problem with it having is when you hit the power, it will not come on. I believe the model number of this TV is a LED50B45RQ. It's a real popular television that was manufactured, I don't know, around 2013, 14. Pretty much the same TV. As you see, it says RCA, but I think it used to be a ProScan, had one, same TV. Sylvania and Philips and Magnavox, all of those were kind of like in on the same chassis about 6-7 years ago. But anyway, to show you, I don't know if you can see it or not on camera, there is a red standby light at the bottom left corner. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Probably can't see it. It is red. Right down there. As it turns red at plug in. As you see, we have the AC plugged in. Okay. And so what I'm actually going to do is I want to hit the power. And when I hit the power, it should turn off. The red light should turn off and the picture should come up. So let me zoom out just a little bit. And I'm going to go hit the power. The red light should turn off. It turns off. Red light is off. And as you can see, there's absolutely no picture on the screen. So generally the first thing that we normally would do with that type of scenario, if the looks like it's coming on, but there's no picture, is we want to check the standby light, right? Let me turn some of these lights off. I'm going to use a very bright flashlight, put it up to the screen, and I can't see a blue menu or something on here. There we go, right there. You see that? Oh, it does that one. There we go, right there. See, it just said no signal. The little no signal box is popping around the screen. No signal. There it is, right there. No signal. Okay, so let's know we have some type of backlight problem, whether it comes from the LEDs or the actual power supply board. We're gonna have to determine that. So anyway, let's check this bad baby apart and see what the fluck is going on.
Chi-Town's finest.
Okay, we got the TV laying face down on its face. Make sure there's nothing up under the screen. We do lay the TV set down. And let me see if I can zoom in on the model number. The top right corner, LED 50 for 50-inch, B45RQ. And as we see on that white barcode sticker at the bottom, I guess that's the serial number. Yeah, serial number right under the serial number is manufacture date of August in 2014. So this TV is almost 8 years old, a little bit over 7 years old. So let's take this bad baby apart and see what's going down. Before we get to taking it apart, first thing we're gonna do is pull off the stand. Okay, right here. There are some screws right here. 4, looks like, actually 6 screws, okay? Pull the stand off, and then we actually have, this actually cover comes in pieces. There's a big piece right here, and there's 2 pieces right here on, little pieces on the end. I'm not sure that all comes off at once. The TVs are kind of weird, so you never know. So let's go ahead and see what's going down. Okay, got all the screws out. Now actually this is just one piece, okay? So once I get the screws out, we're gonna have to pick it up because the RF connector is sticking out on the side here. Kind of pick it up and kind of slide it to the right a little bit. Just like that. And I believe we do have to disconnect our keypad and also our speakers. So I'll just yank the back cover up. And obviously the only difference between the screws are the ones at the very bottom, which are the plastic screws, the long ones, and then the flathead ones are the ones, the smaller ones are the ones that go around the rest of the chassis. And you can figure that out by just looking at the screws when you pull it out. And I think the only one that's different is this one that goes where the power cord. This is like the insulator plastic for the power cord that goes in. Okay, there's a screw there and it goes in that hole, keeping this together. Okay, now I'm gonna look this up a little bit. While I'm looking up under here, actually what I'm gonna do is pull my power cord out first. Okay, and as I can see, I have my control panel and also my speaker. I'm gonna put my speakers up. There's a wire you'll see going right to the main board. A plug with 4 wires, just pull that up. Okay, my speakers are out. Okay, as you can see, speakers are out. And I'm just gonna take this, flip this around like so. This is for the keypad, okay, with our power button and the other buttons on there, the menu button and all that kind of good stuff, right? And then we're just gonna instead of unplugging, I'm just gonna take the whole thing out. Okay, that way I can test fire it up. Because I do not have the remote for this TV. All right, and that's gonna come right out like that. That's your keypad assembly with all your buttons, okay? Now I'm just gonna take this and put these screws back in the holes so I won't lose them, and also so I know which screws go in there. All right. Excellent. Okay. This over here. All right. So now, what I'm going to do is look for my plug for the LEDs. Okay, so quite naturally, if we look to we have a power supply board, a main board. The main board is always the board with all the connections, the HDMI connection and the jacks and the antenna connection. Power supply board is always the board where the power cord goes into. All right, it's power cord. And then we have our keypad, which I showed you. This TV is not a smart TV, so there's no Wi-Fi module. There is the board way over here. You can see that on camera or not. That is for infrared detector and for our standby light. So on that board, okay? And quite naturally, our T-Con boards over here. That's where this cable is coming from. There's our timing control board for the picture to address the pixels inside of the screen. That's what that helps does. And this final output is for the 2 driver boards. It's the board left and the board right, okay? But the first thing I'm concerned with is the LED plug on the power supply that's going to the LEDs inside of the TV. And that plug is always going to the chassis, okay? So you see it's going inside the TV. Okay, back at this LED plug in the power supply. As you can see, we have 2 different lines. There's a red and white wire going to one line and a red and black wire going to the other line. So I'm assuming that the red wire is for the B plus and the white and the black are the return lines, okay? And that's what's going to trigger the TV in the shutdown. There's an LED problem. It's what kind of voltage is left on the return line. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. If you want to just do a quick check, let's say you have an LED checker, I'm gonna start using my meter a lot because people have been asking me questions about using the meter to tell if the LEDs are working if they don't have a checker yet. Okay, because a lot of times people just go ahead, they won't need a checker, they just go ahead and replace the whole strips. I'm beginning to realize that now. So yeah, so basically I got my meter in DC volts, okay? All right, my TV's unplugged, okay? And I'm gonna go to the positive line or whatever you think the positive line is on your LEDs. And I'm assuming it's gonna be red, okay? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can stick in there without me holding it, okay? So I went to one of the red wires, Let's zoom in on the end there. Okay, now if we turn it on and we get voltage coming up, that means most likely a power supply, everything is good except for the LEDs, all right? Because that means that the main board is sending the power supply on and the backlight on command to the power supply board. So everything else should be working, okay? And so anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in, okay? Plug it in. I can see my little light is red, I'm not. Okay. All right, then I'm gonna hit, so I release my control, my keypad, I can go ahead and hit the power button. I did see the backlight flash through the chassis. There we go. Okay, and the reason it's going down because it sees a problem, it's shutting the TV set down. But it went all the way up to 80 volts. As a matter of fact, let's do it again. I'm gonna unplug it. I'm gonna put my meter in min-max, but I know how to do this one. Here we go. Max, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it up again. My meter's at max on DC volts. I'm sorry, I'm grounded to the chassis with my black leads grounded to the anything metal on the chassis right here. I got my red lead positive, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back on. And it should capture the maximum voltage. It should capture the maximum voltage that was trying to go up. Let's see. It flashed 98 volts, okay? So it captured 98 volts. That means that the power supply is good, main board is good. Most likely, 99% of the times, you replace the LED strips, okay? All right, so let's go one step further. I'm just gonna go to each line. I'm gonna put my red, make sure this is working, make sure my leads are good. It should go to 0, okay, good. I'm gonna go take the red. I'm gonna go to red on this first line with the red and black wire. So red, red, black on black. Nothing's happening, okay? So I don't know if there's an open there or if I have my meters backwards. But if I have my meter backwards, the leads backwards, it should have jumped anyway. We'll go to the next line, red on red. I can see the red on red, and then the black on the white one. And as we can see, 100 volts. And yes, I do see a bit of the backlights are on coming through the back of the TV, the back of the chassis. I can't see they are on. So we do have an open line or just one bad LED. Yeah, on that line there, that line is open, and this line is good, 100 volts. All right, so now the only thing we got to do is take this bad baby apart. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is, safety purposes, we're gonna disconnect this LDVS cable going to the T-con board. Okay, that way there's no current going through this when we test fire it up. Okay, it only goes on one way. And I always look at this white dot right here on the actual plug, and there should be an arrow on the circuit board for the white dot goes, because a lot of these TVs use the same type of board for different models and different sizes. So a lot of times the plug will the actual what I'm trying to say, socket part will actually be longer with some more pins, okay? And this will be like over here or whatever, but yeah, so that's good. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pull the shield off of this T-con board right here, okay? So we can disconnect our T-con board from our driver boards a little easier. I mean, I can go up under there and unclip it like that, but yeah, it's gonna be hard to put back on. So we're just gonna take this off. Okay, I did mark the screws already. I did work on the TV probably about a year or two ago. Replacing the single LED. But I did find the entire strips for this one. I didn't get them off of Shop Jimmy, so I don't know if they're new or not, but we're just gonna place the strips in here. Okay, take that off, all right. I also mark where the holes go, where the screws go, also close the screws. I'm gonna put this all together, one place. Just unclip it, pull it out, clip it back down. Okay, that's it. Now, I'm going to have to pull our outer bezel off. I'm going to have to take off that infrared board with a standby light on it. Right here, okay? I mean, I can unplug it if I want. Okay, I can do that. But I just want to take the whole board off because if I go to test fire it up without putting the TV back together, I want to know if the TV is on or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna take the one screw off of that. As you can see, there's a standby light right here, and then there's an IR detector, infrared detector right there, okay, for our remote control. Okay, I'm gonna put the screw back in here so I won't lose it. I know what screw goes in here. The screw is much smaller, so therefore I'm gonna have to take the entire front bezel off, and there are some screws going all the way around the outer frame, okay, and there are also some screws on the very bottom, okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pull those out and then release my driver board. You don't want to pull this because you do not want to tear or even crunch these connectors. These are what they call COF, chip on film connectors. There's actually a IC chip inside of here, and these are the traces for each rows of pixels. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna do it like this. Since these pieces are rubber, we'll kind of like come all the way down there, there, and there. That's it. Okay, and just come down like that, so put them down, then kind of slide them out. Take your finger, kind of pull them out. That's it. Our boards are good. Okay. Now I'm going to take the rest of the screws out from around the chassis all the way around on the other side. Now, if I'm mistaken, by remembering this TV and also the 65-inch RCA that's made like this, you can actually pull while the TV's laying flat and you have all the screws unscrewed from around the chassis and down here, and have our driver boards disconnected and hanging freely out. I believe that the chassis will actually just pull up by itself with the screen still laying there. Let me see if I can grab it like that. Try not to damage these connectors down here. And yes, it actually does, just like that. Okay. And then we'll just pull that right out. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, that way, I guess it's best to have two tables because now I only got one table here because I got my camera here. I'm just gonna have to move this and set it on a flat surface. Okay, see, we have all the screens are together. Okay, we got the regular screen on the outside and our diffuser screens, which are behind that screen. They're all in place. So that would be very easy. So let me see here if I can get another table. Okay, so I'm actually I don't want to pick it up unless you got two people because I'm scared it's going to bend. So I'm just going to slide this over to another table. Okay, making sure there's nothing on the table. All right, I should put some cloth on there, but it should be fine because I'm not going to be moving it around. I'm just going to slide it over here like that. Okay, My driver board's in there, so I'm gonna walk past there and flip them over. And I'm just gonna put this table, slide this over out of the way. Come on now. And we are at our LED strip. What do you know? What do you know? That easy, right? Okay, so what do I see? I see two things here. The screen supports that are gonna have to be squeezed out. Okay, so let's find some pliers, something, right? Flip this around. We just replaced the one, and it's still lasted for a couple years almost, so it's okay. So matter of fact, let's see which one of these strips is bad. All right, and it should be very easy. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 strips on each line. Remember, there were only 2 lines, okay? One red and white wire and one red and black wire was going to the other line. And the test points are pretty obvious. They're located right here on the actual strip. As you can see, one says positive, one says plus, one says minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay, so let's try this first 5 here. Hit the lights. Positive on top. Okay, strips lighting up at 20 volts. Okay, it's the one I replaced. That one is still good. Okay, light up at 20 volts. Lighting up at 20 volts. And the last one at the very bottom, lighting up at 20 volts. Okay, let's go to the other side. Plus is at the bottom, okay? Plus, minus. Okay, that was lighting up. 20 volts. That one's lighting up. 20 volts, okay? 20 volts. Okay, now this will be weird right here, so all this will light up. Very last one, that's our dead one right there. That is reading 336. Now, these obviously have test points on them. Okay, we're just gonna compare this one that's good right here. Okay, this one is good. 20 volts, and let's see how this works. Here we go. So, there's test points, but next to each LED, can't miss them. When we just go down the line till we find the bad one, right? And as we go all the way to the end, the whole strip should still light up at 20 volts. All right, so we'll check our strip that's bad. Put our positive on positive, go to the next test point. That's good. There we go. That's our bad one right there. Right here. We go here. All the rest of these are good. So this one LED is our showstopper right here, the second one from the end. Let's go ahead and mark that. Okay, so like I said, this is our bad LED. I did mark the actual LED in red. If you want, you can replace the individual LEDs. Or if you want to know what voltage people have been asking me, well, if I want to get the individual LEDs, how do I know what the voltage is? Easy. You just go across one, okay? For instance, this TV uses this. I'm gonna go across here. Okay, that's the bad one. I'm gonna go across here and here. Okay, it's lighting up. Okay, so these are 3-volt LEDs. And they only come like 3 volts and like 5 or 6 volts, okay? 3 volts, the LG uses the 6-volt ones. I know that for a fact. Most of the LGs, the newer ones, Vizios uses the 6-volt, and these are 3 volts. And the kind that you want to get are like these here. And that's how they look. All right. And I've got plenty of videos on how to replace the LEDs, all right, individual ones. With me, I kind of shied away from doing that. But actually got these new strips off. They didn't have these on at Shop Jimmy, I guess because the TV's too old or whatever, I'm not sure. I couldn't find these on Shop Jimmy. So I actually bought these from a guy that I buy parts from on the internet called TV Repair Parts, I believe. I don't have the box. Or TV repair guy, I forget. I'll let you know. I'll put the correct link in the description. But I've been buying parts from this guy for years. Sometimes he has parts, even newer parts that I can't even find on Shop Jimmy or even eBay, right? And his parts always work. He's not one of those guys that's like, you know, on eBay just buying broke TVs with broke screens in them and just pulling the parts out of them, and you know, and just don't know if they're good or bad. Put them on eBay. These look new here. Let me see if it's the right ones. TV parts guy. As you can cover my address up, so I don't know nobody sending me no hookers or nothing over here. But TV parts guy, and ships from California. Okay. All right. So yes, these are the strips there. They do look new. So I might be in luck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now these should be pretty easy. I'm gonna see if these are glued down or not. I don't think so. There is some screws. Looks like number 1 Phillips. We just unplug it first. Just push it down and pull it out. Comes right out, right? And we have to pull all the screws out, looks like. Yeah. All the screws to come out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that's insane. Okay. And we can always, mark it, but because they got the screws in there, you already know, we'll mark the end up so we can line it up pretty good on each one, right? Pull all these off so I won't confuse you. Confuse myself. All right, number 1 Phillips. And you definitely want to put all these screws back in because you want to keep the LED strip as close. Get that metal, because the LED is going to dissipate heat. You want to keep that metal flush against the metal on the chassis. All right. I'm going to put this new one on. Lines up perfectly. Right? Yep. No sticky paper or no prying. So like I said, just take all 5 of the screws off and put them back on. You don't have to put them in there very tight, but tight enough so so the strip will not move around. Okay. Excellent. 20 volts. Okay. And that's it. And I'll go ahead and replace the other 9 of them. Right, 9 of them. And I'll go ahead, we'll plug it, and we'll replace those strips, plug it back in our connector back in the power supply board for the LEDs. Turn the set on and make sure that these all light up, all the strips light up and they stay on. Okay, so I'll be back after I replace all the strips. Okay, I just wanted to go show you guys something before I replace all the strips. I just got the one new strip that I replaced. All the other strips are the original ones that were in there. And I just want to show you. I'm just going to plug this in, okay? We got our red light there, okay? Kind of a dim red light, red standby light. And I'm just going to go ahead and I didn't turn this off here. I'm going to turn it on with the power, hit the power button. If you look on this side, you're probably going to see a flash on this side of the LCD panel. Okay, it's on, light is off. Okay, that's it. Now, the reason I'm showing you that is because, as you can remember, this is our bad LED on this strip. I'm going to go ahead and replace this entire strip. Okay. Take that off. Take the new strip. Line it up. Put the screws back in. I'm going to plug it back in. Okay, just push the plug in until it clicks in firmly. Make sure it's not loose. And I'm going to try this again. Plug in our power. I do have our backlights plugged into our power supply board on the other side of the TV. As you can see, I have a red light. Okay, I'm going to hit the power. The light should turn off. I think on some TVs the light actually changes blue when you turn it on, but this one the light goes off. This is a little older model. Hit power, light goes off. And voila, that's it. That was just that one little LED that was preventing the whole TV screen from lighting up, okay? But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and replace all the strips and be done with it. Okay, so I've replaced all the strips and replaced all the screws. Okay, like I said, when I put all the screws back in, there was a time when I first started doing this, right, and I used to be like, oh, I don't need all these screws, right? And of course, the TV was coming back because these screws, the metal or conductor part, I would believe, will have to be flush against the metal. But anyway, if you like, there's so many screws, so if you like lose a screw, one rolls up under the table or something, you can't find it, it's no big deal. But just make sure that you try to replace all the screws. I want to plug it in, double check before I put it back together. Red light is on. Okay, I'm gonna hit the power button. Voila, looks good. Okay, now we'll just go ahead. First you just want to, like I said, make sure all the plugs for the LED strips are plugged and pushed all the way in, because if it's not, you just want to tap it, make sure everything's securely, wiggle the wires, okay, because if not, the TV won't come on quite naturally. One of the plugs is unplugged, okay, because you are going to get a 0 voltage feedback on the feedback line, return line. Okay, so it looks good. So let's put it back together. Lines up excellent. Actually, these twist in, okay? All right. Prime up just a little bit. Put it in the long way. The screws for the stand, make sure that you have the original screws. Make sure the screws for the stand are not too long. Let's just say you got the TV on the wall, then you move or put the TV in another room and you want to put the stand back on and you can't find the original screws. People will often say, for instance, this is the original screw here, right? Okay. People will often get replacement screws which are longer, and what's going to happen is going to screw further down and it's going to get in contact with the T-con board. Remember, the T-con board is up under the shield, and what happens is it shorts T-con board out. I had another one last week, same problem. The guy gave his TV to a relative. The relative called me up and said it wasn't working. It was backlight but no video, and what happened was the screws were too long and they actually punctured the T-con board, okay? So make sure that you keep the original screws. If you like the video, make sure that you give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, that helps the algorithm, that's what they say. A few dislikes, but I like likes better. Make sure that you do subscribe. I've got plenty of videos on my channel. Just go to my channel, Big Dog 8882, and look in the search box on top and search what brand, RCA, LG, Samsung. All my videos will come up. Until then, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching, and until then, Big Dog out.